Module 1, Introduction to ISO/IEC 42001, 2023 AIMS. Learning Outcomes. Having completed Module 1, Introduction to ISO/IEC 42001, 2023 AIMS, you will be able to identify why the ISO's new AI management system is essential. Define what artificial intelligence, AI, is. Evaluate the importance of ISO and define best practices. List the topics covered in the ISO 42001, 2023. Outline the Sustainable Development Goals of the ISO 42001, 2023. Why learn about ISO's new AI management system? If you are in IT, AI is the new big thing, and as with everything, there needs to be a management system to manage its growth, have a common language, and ensure the responsible development of the field. There are many ethical considerations, such as transparency and continuous learning. Is it ethical to write an essay with AI? This ISO allows organizations to manage the risks and opportunities that are now coming up with AI in a structured way and provides for balancing innovation with proper appropriate governance that the world's leading standards organization has vetted. Welcome to the course. Thanks for taking the first step towards increasing your knowledge of ISO 42001 and AI in general. This course will help you understand the fundamentals of this new ISO, which, at the time of publication of this course, was only 2 months old. Please note, Allison cannot host hyperlinks due to cybersecurity reasons. When you encounter a URL, please copy and paste it into your browser to access the web page. Course material is from the author's experience and is available online. Just before you start. Before you start this course, it is essential to give you an overview of the thinking behind the ISO standards. The ISO standards are based on 4 significant steps: plan, do, check, and act. Let's explain. Plan. ISO collects information about the AI systems in place, decides what resources are required, and approves those resources. Do is implementing the ISO/IEC 42001 AI management system, writing and implementing the AI policy, risk assessment, system impact assessment, and other related documents. Check, evaluate the implementation of the AI management system with management. Act is implementing the changes from the check process. Then, the process starts all over again, checking if more resources are needed, approving, implementing, and evaluating them. What is AI? Wikipedia defines AI as the intelligence of machines or software, as opposed to the intelligence of other living beings, field of study in computer science that develops and studies intelligent machines. It is essentially the culmination of the historical quest to organize information logically. Early philosophers turn it into zeros and ones, and process some relevant information, usually due to a database query. Today, we call it machine learning, big data, and other names. AI processes large quantities of data, providing an output that answers a question. It should be considered a human helper, not a replacement for humans. Although many jobs will be eliminated with AI, and many more will be created. Why do we need an ISO for AI? In particular, IT and AI are changing how we work, do business, and live. Not long ago, we used the term Google it when we wanted to know something. Now, we are consulting resources such as ChatGPT for many things that require a higher level of thought, not just for information or to search for something, but to process information. Imagine what could be next. It is scary. Many movies have been made about what AI can do for us in the future. We are in the middle of an AI revolution, and how we manage this revolution will determine where it takes humankind. Yes, it's no minor issue. That's why having a standard is essential, as many problems come up with AI. Common terminology. Public standard on artificial intelligence. To address the issue of everyday language and definitions, ISO has issued an IT and AI terminology and concepts reference guide. It's free to download, the link is in the reference section. The importance of ISO. ISO itself defines the importance of an ISO as what's the best way of doing this. In other words, what are the best practices for a particular topic? You can find a link to the ISO Benefits of Standards page in the Resources section. ISO's humble beginnings began with standardizing weights and measurements to keep people honest in business. It has over 50 years of experience in standardizing nearly every topic in industry and business. There are over 25,246 standards. ISO citations for AI. The ISO/IEC 42001:2023 can be found in the reference section. Please see the resource section for the link. If you are considering implementing ISO 42001 in your organization, we recommend that you buy the standard. If you need help implementing ISO 42001, we are here to help. Contact me through LinkedIn, and I will walk you through the implementation of ISO 42001. Topics covered in ISO 42001, 2023. 1. Scope of ISO 42001. 2. Normative references. 3. Terms and definitions. 4. Context of the organization. 5. Leadership guidelines. 6. Planning guidelines. 7. Support guidelines. 8. Operation guidelines. 9. Performance evaluation. 10. Improvement. Annex A. Reference control objectives and controls. Annex B. Implementation guidance for AI controls. Annex C. Potential AI-related organizational objectives and risk sources. Annex D. Use of the AI management system across domains or as sectors. Bibliography. Sustainable Development Goals achieved. 5. Enforce gender equality. 7. Grow affordable and clean energy. 8. Create decent work and economic growth. 9. Increase industry, innovation, and infrastructure. 10. Reduce inequality. 11. Influence responsible consumption and production. 14. Develop life below water. Lesson summary. The key points from Module 1 Introduction to ISO/IEC 42001, 2023 AMS are the following. ISO 42001, 2023 allows organizations to manage the risks and opportunities that AI is creating in a structured way and provides for balancing innovation with appropriate governance, which the world's leading standards organization has vetted. AI is the intelligence of machines or software, as opposed to the intelligence of other living beings, field of study in computer science that develops and studies intelligent machines. AI is changing how we work, do business, and live, so having an ISO standard is essential. ISO has over 50 years of experience standardizing nearly every topic in industry and business, with over 25,246 standards. ISO 42001, 2023 covers terms and definitions, leadership, planning, support, operation, performance, improvement, control objectives, implementation, organizational objectives, and risk sources. It also covers sustainable development goals such as gender equality, affordable and clean energy, decent work and economic growth, increasing industry innovation and infrastructure, reducing inequality, responsible consumption and production, and developing life below water. Module 2, AI Terms, Needs and Leadership. Learning Outcomes. Having completed Module 2 AI Terms, Needs and Leadership, you will be able to explain the individual topics covered in ISO 42001-2023. Review the contents of ISO 22989, which covers the terms and concepts of AI. Recognize the potential issues with AI. Compute the essential terms from ISO 42001-2023. Define the importance of the organization, its needs, leadership support, scope, and the AI management system. Scope of ISO 42001 and normative references. This standard section in ISO regulations describes the scope of this document. This section, as are the previous two sections, Foreword and Introduction, and the following two sections, Normative References and Terms and Definitions, are free. The link is available in the Resources section. Normative References. Here is where all ISO standards write upon what they are based upon. What documents do you need to know before reading this one? In this case, ISO/IEC 22989, Information Technology, Artificial Intelligence, This free online document explains AI concepts and terminology. I found it very informative. You can download the free download from the link in the Resources section. Review of ISO/IEC 22989. A brief review of ISO/IEC 22989, Information Technology, Artificial Intelligence, Concepts and Terminology. What is noteworthy about this document is its thorough review of terms and concepts in AI. It reviews terms in the areas of artificial intelligence, AI, data requirements, machine learning, neural networks, trustworthiness, natural language processing, computer vision. We regard knowledge as related to cognitive capabilities. However, within AI, this term refers to content, not capability. While knowledge is part of the data information knowledge process, regarding AI, it is not a cognitive process. It is a technical process. In our minds in AI, the same information can lead to different outcomes in knowledge. Issues with AI. Setting aside what we have seen AI can do in movies, which is the imagination of the writers, and setting aside what we have heard third or fourth hand, but not necessarily confirmed, that may or may not have happened in AI labs where AI allegedly took over the lab in some way or another, there are serious issues with AI in the areas of trustworthiness is related to the predictability of what the AI system will do, even if we do not understand its reasoning. Robustness, does the system have the capability to do what it is designed for under any circumstances? Resilience, does the system bounce back if it encounters problems? Reliability, AI, as it is a program, can execute the same tasks over and over and over again without getting tired, as long as it has a source of electricity. Accuracy, it is a correct assumption that AI can execute code and actions as and, in most cases, more accurately than humans. Safety, will you allow an AI to drive you to your destination? Have there been car crashes from AI systems? Is driving overall safer with AI? Security, facial recognition and confirming who the person is on screen has been used widely in security and law enforcement. Privacy, in terms of personally identifiable information, PII, where information used to train the AI or otherwise can be linked back to the person whose information it is. ISO 22989. The table, on the next slide, which appears in the ISO/AC 22989:2022, discusses the differences between the levels of automation of the autonomous and heteronomous, meaning both different and other autonomous systems, basically AI. This sets the groundwork for discussing limitations that should be placed on AI to design, program, and use it responsibly. AI uses a system similar to our human method, receiving information through our senses, planning what to do next, and acting. Section 5.14.2 of 22989, irrespective of how long this takes, that is the process. This happens with a drone, for example, when it approaches a wall and its forward sensors sense the wall. ISO 22989, Kant. Relationship between autonomy, heteronomy, and automation. Then, the sensors send the information to the drone's processing system, which reviews the data and acts on it by changing to hover to avoid hitting the wall. This all happens in milliseconds. Match the issue with its explanation. Answer instructions. Trustworthiness. Robustness. Resilience. Reliability. Accuracy. Safety. Select. Use in automobiles. Does the system have the capability to do what it was designed for under any circumstances? Does the system bounce back if it encounters problems? Execute code and actions which is most cases more accurately than humans. Execute the same tasks over and over again without getting tired. As long as it has a source of electricity. Predictability of what the AI system will do, even if we humans don't understand it. Essential terms from ISO/IEC 42001. Some of the more essential terms and definitions to understand this ISO from Section 3 of 42001 are: 3.2, interested party, a person or organization. 3.1, that can be affected by or perceive itself to be affected by a decision or activity. Note 1 to entry. An overview of interested parties in AI is provided in ISO/AC 22989:2022, 5.19. 3.24, AI System Impact Assessment, the formal, documented process by which the impacts on individuals, groups of individuals, or both, and societies are identified, evaluated, and addressed by an organization developing, providing, or using products or services utilizing artificial intelligence. Essential terms from ISO/IEC 42001-2. Some of the more essential terms and definitions to understand this ISO from Section 3 of 22989 are: March 1, 12, declarative knowledge, knowledge represented by facts, rules, and theorems. March 1, 22, life cycle, the evolution of a system, product, service, project, or other human-made entity, from conception through retirement. Source, ISO/AC/IEEE 15288:2015, April 1, 23. March 1, 24, narrow AI, the type of AI system. 3.1.4, focused on defined tasks. March 1, 35, to address a specific problem. March 1, 28, procedural knowledge, knowledge that explicitly indicates the steps to be taken to solve a problem or to reach a goal. Source, ISO/AC 2382-28:1995, February 28, 23. 3.3.6, machine learning algorithm to determine parameters. 3.3.8, of a machine learning model. 3.3.7, from data according to given criteria. 3.3.7, machine learning model, a mathematical construct that generates an inference. March 1, 17, or prediction. March 1, 27, based on input data or information. 3.5.1 Accountable, answerable for actions, decisions, and performance. 3.5.4 Bias are the systematic differences in treating particular objects, people, or groups compared to others. Essential terms from ISO/IEC 42001-3. 3.5.8 Predictability, a property of an AI system. 3.1.4 that enables reliable assumptions by stakeholders. March 5, 13 about the output. Source: ISO/AZTR 27550:2019. 3.12 by individuals, owners, and operators about the PII and its processing by a system has been replaced with by stakeholders about the outputs. March 5, 10 Resilience, the ability of a system to recover operational conditions quickly following an incident. March 5, 11 Risk, effective uncertainty on objectives. March 5, 12 Robustness, the ability of a system to maintain its level of performance under any circumstances. March 5, 13 Stakeholder, any individual, group, or organization that can be affected by or perceive itself to be affected by a decision or activity. Source: ISO/AC 38500:2015. 2.24 Modified, remove comma after be affected by in the definition. March 5, 16 Trustworthiness, the ability to meet stakeholder. March 5, 13 Expectations verifiably. Understanding the organization and its context. As with everything, it starts with who is in charge. In this section, one would want to understand who needs an AI management system. Which organization? What are their issues, internally and externally? What is the purpose of having an AI system? For example, the company is designing and developing an AI system for clients to manage their drone fleet delivery service. What laws must the organization adhere to? Who are its clients, and what agreements do it have with them? Understanding needs and expectations. Going back to the definition of an interested party above. 3.2 Interested party, a person or organization. 3.1 that can be affected by or perceive itself to be affected by a decision or activity. Note 1 to entry. An overview of interested parties in AI is provided in ISO/AC 22989:2022, 5.19. First, who are the interested parties, and what are their expectations? Determining the scope of the AI management system. As with all things, they do not encompass everything, and we don't want them to. We want to limit the scope to what the organization can handle. While it has not been said yet, everything needs to be documented. Ultimately, it is into an AI management plan so that anyone can pick it up off the shelf and understand the organization's objective, the product they want to build or use, what they want to do with it, and how. AI management system. As said in the last slide, an AI management system is needed, and the way to write it up is in an AI management plan. If you need help writing one, you can consult your company on how to write it up and prepare you for an audit. Leadership and commitment. Nothing gets done in a company if the leadership does not back it up with their leadership, resources, and commitment. That's the starting point. Ask the leadership for the resources needed. Inevitably, there will be a champion in an organization. It might be a senior manager or a middle manager. Still, the organization's leadership must commit to the AI management system and allocate the resources, both financial and human, to implement it. We will see the other management roles in later slides. AI policy. As with so many other ISOs, whether it is health and safety, information technology, or the environment, the company's CEO needs to sign an AI policy statement. This statement should set out the organization's framework, its commitment to AI, and how it protects its company and clients in the areas mentioned above, which are concerted by AI. To remind you, they are trustworthiness, robustness, resilience, reliability, accuracy guidelines, safety guidelines, security guidelines, privacy guidelines, roles, responsibilities, and authorities. In this section of the AI Management Plan, the AI management system must designate every person in the organization's role and responsibility and their authority to execute their role. We know there must always be a healthy balance between responsibility and authority. If one has too much responsibility and not enough authority to execute their role, that creates an unhealthy imbalance, and the employee cannot complete their work correctly. This goes hand in hand with each employee's capabilities. Each employee must be suitably qualified for the role, responsibility, and authority that they have been assigned. The Human Resources Department must be involved in selecting and hiring critical roles in the AI management system. Resources. Referring back to the leadership commitment, what resources does an organization need to implement its AI management system? Resources could include hiring new employees, reshuffling employees to new positions, promoting employees, leading more office space, purchasing more computers, cloud services, and/or physical servers on site. Competence and communication. Competence. Referring back to the leadership commitment, is leadership assessing whether the right people are in the right roles based on their qualifications and experience? What will become important in an ISO audit is whether it can be proven that each person in their position is qualified based on their documented experience and education. Communication. Once internal training is completed, what ongoing communication is required with employees, the board of directors, senior management, external authorities, and the public? This is where the Public Relations or Community Relations Department needs to be involved to help make the right decisions. The organization's reputation could be at risk if it takes action in the area of AI and the stakeholders are not comfortable with the steps it is taking. Awareness and documented information. Awareness. This is similar to training employees regarding the topic. Have the parts of the AI management system been communicated to the employees? The policy? The AI organizational chart? What is each person's role, responsibility, and authority? Documented information. Everything must be documented, all the steps before this section and after. This way, during an ISO audit, the organization can prove to the auditor that all the necessary steps were taken to arrive at the AI management system's processes correctly and that they are maintained and reviewed at the appropriate times. Lesson summary. The key points from Module 2 AI Terms, Needs and Leadership are the following. Information technology and artificial intelligence concepts and terminology can be found in ISO/IEC 22989. Issues with AI can include trustworthiness, robustness, resilience, reliability, accuracy, safety, security, and privacy. ISO/IEC 22989, 2022 covers terms and concepts in AI, including data requirements, machine learning, neural networks, natural language processing, and computer vision. It is essential to determine who needs the AI management system and why, with every detail documented in an AI management plan. An effective AI management system starts with the organization and leadership. Asking the leadership for the resources needed, appointing an AI manager, and implementing an AI policy for the company is imperative. Module 3, Risks, planning, monitoring and improvement. Learning outcomes. Having completed Module 3 Risks, Planning, Monitoring and Improvement, you will be able to evaluate why an AI SWOT analysis is essential. Compare the organization's AI policy to ensure that it is aligned with the project's objectives. Define the 8 areas of concern and ensure they are investigated during an AI risk assessment. Recognize the importance of monitoring processes, internal audits and documentation. Review the need for annual reviews, continual improvement, and the requirements for nonconformity and corrective actions. Actions to address risks and opportunities. As with many other areas of a company's work, such as health and safety in IT, a risk assessment is needed to address the inherent risks and opportunities associated with AI. Therefore, it is recommended that an AI SWOT is conducted to identify the strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats (SWOT) that an organization has regarding AI. There are many opportunities and risks. However, does the company have strengths such as a patentable AI process? Does the organization lack sufficient financial or human resources to execute? Weakness? AI objectives and planning to achieve them. What are the organization's objectives when it comes to AI? Refer back to the AI policy. Are they aligned? Are the objectives SMART, specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time-bound? To whom does the organization need to communicate the objectives? Refer back to who the stakeholders are. Planning. What is the process for designing, developing, and/or using a new AI system in the organization? Planning of changes. Typically, management systems are reviewed once a year to see if updates are needed or if a significant change to the organization's direction of the AI management system needs to be made. We must remember that change happens quickly in AI, and organizations must adapt to change to stay relevant in their industry and, most of all, remain responsible regarding their use of AI. Operational planning and control. When discussing operational planning and control, it is essential to note that they must be done in line with the SWOT analysis mentioned earlier in Section 6. As with many things in life, especially mathematics, when learning about them, the following sections build on the previous sections, so we need to consider the previous sections. When planning, it is essential to understand the processes that will occur and how they are affected and affect the identified risks. AI risk assessment. 8 areas that could be affected now or identified. Each of those 8 areas, to remind you, they are trustworthiness, robustness, resilience, reliability, accuracy, safety, security and privacy, needs to be addressed and flushed out in terms of how your organization could affect the stakeholders and what actions the organization takes that could involve the stakeholders. As with all plans and assessments, they should be updated when there is a change in the products being developed, for example, once a year, whichever is sooner. AI System Impact Assessment. A system impact assessment differs from a risk assessment, as a risk assessment discusses individual risks that occur due to specific actions or situations. A system impact assessment looks at the system and asks how the system can affect the different stakeholders. Please ensure that you have a paper trail, or, today, as we call it, traceability of how the system impact assessment was arrived at, so that it can be reviewed during an audit. AI risk treatment. Now that there is a list of risks, it is time to treat them so we can reduce them. Usually, in a risk assessment, there is a likelihood and severity, and usually they are multiplied. Along with a risk assessment, there must be a risk log, meaning a list of risks that could happen due to engaging in the planning, development, and use of AI. Monitoring, measurement, analysis, and evaluation. This section deals with the importance of monitoring, which means deciding what part of the AI system to monitor so that it remains predictable and does not get out of control. What tools/methods were used to monitor? What parts need to be measured, for example, how many computations it does and whether they change over time. This could indicate that the AI is starting to get out of control, as one could ask why it is computing so much information. What tools/methods were used to measure? Analysis of the monitoring and measurement. This should be documented for a future audit. What tools/methods were used to analyze? Evaluation of the analysis asks the following questions, or all the questions asked/analyzed? What tools/methods were used to evaluate? Internal audit. Before any external audit, an internal audit must be conducted to confirm that the organization is ready for it. To increase impartiality, the internal audit must be completed by someone knowledgeable in AI who may or may not be part of the organization. All staff must understand that it is okay to fail an internal audit as it is a learning experience, and the external audit is what counts. An internal audit helps to confirm that the organization has adequately integrated the systems to manage AI into the organization's processes. Management review. This helps close the loop. If you recall, at the start of this process in this ISO, as with all ISOs, there is leadership commitment at the beginning. The management will review the parts listed above, particularly the AI system impact assessment and risk assessment and treatment. They will check it to confirm they have provided enough resources to implement the AI management plan. They will review any issues arising from the work done to write and implement the risk treatments and the AI system impact assessment. In the next section, we will discuss some of them: continual improvement, nonconformity, and corrective action. Continual improvement. As with all ISOs, this is one of the most crucial parts, that is, a mindset of continuous improvement of the system and the parts of the system. This is accomplished when there is an annual review or review of any incidents that may have occurred. It is also achieved by reviewing the nonconformities raised during the last period and their corrective actions. Nonconformity. Nonconformity is also a hallmark of the ISO process, as it, in a non-judgmental way, reviews issues that have arisen that are not in line with the policies, the risk assessments, and the system impact assessment. Once an analysis of the issue in the form of a nonconformity report has been written up, it can move to the next step, which is described in the next slide: corrective action. Corrective action. Another hallmark of the ISO and continual improvement processes is to decide upon the appropriate corrective actions needed to address the nonconformity and incidents that may have occurred. As with all other corrective actions, the corrective action must be time-bound and assigned to a particular individual or group to execute. To close the loop, the date of the corrective action and proof that it was done must be documented to be available at an internal or external audit. This is where most audits fail, as the corrective actions were not followed up and confirmed that they were completed. It is recommended that a few weeks after the disciplinary action is decided upon, it is confirmed that it was constructed to avoid this prevalent mistake. Lesson summary. The key points from Module 3 Risks, Planning, Monitoring and Improvement, are the following. It is recommended that an AI SWOT analysis be conducted to identify an organization's strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats, SWOT, regarding AI. Typically, management systems are reviewed once a year to see if updates are needed or if a significant change to the organization's direction of the AI management system needs to be made. A risk assessment is needed to address the inherent risks that come with AI and, in fact, opportunities. This allows the company to set AI objectives and plan for the AI management system. This may lead to the employment of new staff and new premises if required. Once the AI management system is in place, it is essential for continued monitoring to take place and be documented. An analysis and nonconformity report is to be written up, and any corrective actions undertaken and documented. Module 4, Annexes explored. Learning outcomes. Having completed Module 4, Annexes explored, you will be able to evaluate Annex A, which refers to reference control objectives and controls. Outline Annex B, which refers to policies related to AI, internal organization, resources, impacts, lifecycle, data, interested parties, use and third-party relationships. Analyze Annex C, which refers to organizational objectives and risk sources. Assess Annex D, which refers to using AI management systems across domains and sectors. Summarize further ISO reading relating to AI management systems. Annex A reference control objectives and controls. Annex A discusses a list of suggested topics and potential controls, but organizations might need to modify the controls for their particular use case. As the document is copyrighted, you should purchase it if you want to implement this ISO in your organization, but what I will say is that it reviews a few topics. Policies related to AI. Internal organization. Resources for AI systems. Assessing the impacts of AI systems. AI system lifecycle. Data for AI systems. Information for interested parties of AI systems. Use of AI systems. Third-party and customer relationships. Annexes B.2 and B.3. Annex B.2 Policies related to AI. This section of the ISO standard details the extensive implementation guidance that the ISO committee wanted to convey to the standard's implementers. You should purchase the standard you want to implement appropriately in your organization. Here, it is reiterated how important it is to have an AI policy. Remember, it must be signed by the most senior employee, which in most cases is the CEO. It should also be displayed at the entrance of the organization's premises and available on the organization's website. Annex B.3 Internal Organization. What needs to be done within the organization to set up and prepare for an AI management system is described here. As we said earlier, the most important thing is balancing roles, responsibilities, and authority to execute. Without enough authority, resources, the employee won't be able to implement what their role and responsibility call for, and the senior management will want to change that individual. Senior management must provide enough authority for employees to work while maintaining the ultimate authority. It's a balancing act. Many people must be assigned roles and responsibilities in the AI management system, but the company must decide who and what. Annex B.4 Resources for AI Systems. We discussed resources before. Here, they are documented. As we said, there are many types of resources: human resources, machines, programs and information, and others. Regarding human resources, does the organization have the right people working on the AI system with the proper training and background? In terms of machines, AI requires a lot of physical or cloud-based computing power. Is there enough of this resource to complete the AI organizational objectives? In terms of programs and information, does the AI system have sufficient data to consider for its objectives? Has it been sufficiently programmed to fulfill its goals? There are many other resources to consider, these are the main ones. Once you purchase the standard, you will see that it details the above. Annex B.5 Assessing Impacts of AI Systems. Impacts are assessed through the AI impact assessment mentioned earlier in this course. The question is, who could the technology potentially impact? Who are the interested parties? To write that everyone will be impacted is not sufficient. There will be groups who are affected more and groups who will be impacted less. Those groups need to be spelt out in the impact assessment and reviewed on how they could be affected and what can be done. As with all ISO things, document everything as one day you don't want this to become a legal issue, and then you won't have any documentation to back up your case. Some jurisdictions, such as New York, are already fining organizations for violations of the AI laws in their jurisdiction. Annex B.6 AI System Lifecycle. What happens in a life cycle? A system is planned/designed, developed, and used. But is this done responsibly? That is the whole point of this ISO standard, to confirm that the AI system has been designed responsibly, that its users are not impacted, and that no laws are broken, even in retrospect. That's why when a new law comes out or is being discussed, the AI developers must review it and know before it is passed and implemented to check if their system complies with the laws or not, and how to change the system or lobby that the rules be changed so that their system will be able to function without violating the new regulations. Annexes B.7 and B.8. Annex B.7 Data for AI Systems. When considering the data to train the AI system, there are some important topics to consider. First, one needs to understand the data's objective. What will it be used for? Then, one needs to consider whether the data is biased. The goal is to have unbiased data. This way, the AI outputs can be trusted. So one needs to ask oneself, where did the data used in the AI system come from? If it is biased, how can it be mitigated? After the data is used, how does the AI system treat the data? Is it discarded? Regarding privacy issues, can the data be linked to an identifiable individual? We must ask ourselves, were any privacy laws violated? The critical question is there any way to connect the data to a natural person? Annex B.8 Information for Interested Parties. Here, we now have a report for interested parties. When receiving information on whether the AI system was designed, developed, and used responsibly, the interested parties had the tools needed to understand and evaluate the information, meaning the risks and opportunities inherent in the AI system being deployed. What were their conclusions? Annexes B.9 and B.10. Annex B.9 Use of AI Systems. Now that we have reviewed the organization that designed and developed it, the annex uses the AI system. When it will be used, will it be used responsibly to align with what was originally intended? We go back to the list of main issues that could arise from AI. Issues of fairness, accountability, transparency, explainability, reliability, issues of safety, robustness and redundancy, privacy and security, accessibility. Annex B.10 Third-party and customer relationships. Now that we have looked at the interested parties, what about other parties of the organization who have a contractual relationship with the organization, such as customers, suppliers, and anyone in the supply chain or customer chain? How will this new AI system impact them? Will the AI system run the new vehicle that just came off the assembly line? Did the organization show the customer that the AI system is reliable? Did they build customer confidence and trust? Annex C.1 General. The AI policy explained the main areas of AI risk and the organization's policy regarding them. The dangers involved were inherent in those topics, which were reviewed in the risk assessment and their response and impact assessment. They must be checked against the organization's strategic, tactical, and operational objectives. Annex C.2 Objectives. The organization's objectives could include many topics, some of which were reviewed in this course and some related to some of the other central ISO standards for which organizations are audited and receive certification. The organization should consult ISO 42001 in this section for more topics to review. In all cases, the more topics that are reviewed, the better. Annex C.3 Risk Sources. Risks can occur from any of the main topics discussed in this course, yet how they interact with one another determines the higher level of risk that could happen. Take, for example, when safety, security and privacy meet. Is the risk amplified? Is it more than the sum of its parts? What happens when legal issues come into play and not just technical issues? Does the complexity increase, and what are the limitations of the technologies being implemented? All this must be considered, and the organization must still fulfill its objectives. Yes, it is a challenge, but what better way to challenge the organization than that it operates in the real world and not only in a laboratory? Annex D.1 General. So, how will AI be used in different domains and sectors? Healthcare, would you trust an AI doctor? Would you trust an AI that fixes your car? Would you have your army replaced by AI drones with guns that can shoot from many km or miles away with great accuracy? Would you trust an AI bot that reviews applications for jobs? Would you trust an AI system that manages all of the power grid? Would you have an AI bot buy and sell stocks? Would you trust an Annex D.2 Integration of AIMS with other systems? This AIMS does not stand alone in the ISO family of standards, as AI is closely linked with IT. An organization with ISO 27001 should look to the next step of organizing and applying for certification for this ISO. If an organization does not yet have ISO 27001 certification, it should probably first do that certification. A link is available in the resources section. Other ISOs. The same goes for ISO 9001, the base ISO for all ISOs. That is the first ISO an organization should have in place before it applies to any other ISO. There will be some industry-specific ISOs that organizations should use that are specific to their type of work, such as the biomedical field, defense, or the food industry. Further reading 1. This ISO was written with the following ISO ones that also need to be considered when understanding AI's ISO. They are easily found if one searches for them on the internet or the www.iso.org website. Please look at the ones that interest you and read them, some are free. 1. ISO 8002, Data Quality, Part 2, Vocabulary. 2. ISO 9001, Quality Management Systems, Requirements. 3. ISO 9241-210, Ergonomics of Human System Interaction, Part 210, Human-Centered Design for Interactive Systems. 4. ISO 13485, Medical Devices, Quality Management Systems, Requirements for Regulatory Purposes. 5. ISO 22000, Food Safety Management Systems, Requirements for any organization in the food chain. 6. IEC 62304, Medical Device Software, Software Lifecycle Processes. 7. ISO/IEC Guide 51, Safety Aspects, Guidelines for their inclusion in standards. 8. ISO/IEC TS 4213, Information Technology, Artificial Intelligence, Assessment of Machine Learning Classification Performance. Further reading 2. 9. ISO/IEC 5259, All Parts, 2. Data quality for analytics and machine learning, ML. 10. ISO/IEC 5338, Information Technology, Artificial Intelligence, AI System Lifecycle Process. 11. ISO/IEC 17065, Conformity Assessment, Requirements for Bodies Certifying Products, Processes and Services. 12. ISO/IEC 19944-1, Cloud Computing and Distributed Platforms Data Flow, Data Categories, and Data Use, Part 1, Fundamentals. 13. ISO/IEC 23053, Framework for Artificial Intelligence, AI, Systems Using Machine Learning, ML. 14. ISO/IEC 23894, Information Technology, Artificial Intelligence, Guidance on Risk Management. 15. ISO/IEC TR 24027, Information Technology, Artificial Intelligence, AI, Bias in AI Systems and AI-Aided Decision-Making. 16. ISO/IEC TR 24029-1, Artificial Intelligence, AI, Assessment of the Robustness of Neural Networks, Part 1, Overview. 17. ISO/IEC TR 24368, Information Technology, Artificial Intelligence, Overview of Ethical and Societal Concerns. Further reading, 3. 18. ISO/IEC 25024, Systems and Software Engineering, Systems and Software Quality Requirements and Evaluation, Square, Data Quality Measurement. 19. ISO/IEC 25059, Software Engineering, Systems and Software Quality Requirements and Evaluation, Square, Quality Model for AI Systems. 20. ISO/IEC 27000:2018, Information Technology, Security Techniques, Information Security Management Systems, Overview and Vocabulary. 21. ISO/IEC 27701, Security Techniques, Extension to ISO/IEC 27001 and ISO/IEC 27002 for Privacy Information Management, Requirements and Guidelines. 22. ISO/IEC 27001, Information Security, Cybersecurity and Privacy Protection, Information Security Management Systems, Requirements. 23. ISO/IEC 29100, Information Technology, Security Techniques, Privacy Framework. 24. ISO 31000:2018, Risk Management, Guidelines. 25. ISO 37002, Whistleblowing Management Systems, Guidelines. 26. ISO/IEC 38500:2015, Information Technology, Governance of IT for the Organization. Further reading, 4. 27. ISO/IEC 38507, Information Technology, Governance of IT, Governance Implications of Using Artificial Intelligence by Organizations. 28. Lifecycle DDI 3.3, April 15, 2020. Data Documentation Initiative, DDI, Alliance. Viewed on February 19, 2022. The link is available in the Resources section. 29. Risk Framework N.I.S.TAI 1.0, January 26, 2023. National Institute of Technology, NIST, viewed on April 17, 2023. The link is available in the Resources section. Lesson Summary. The key points from Module 4 Annexes explored are the following. Annex A covers such topics as AI-related policies, internal organization, resources for AI systems, AI system lifecycles, data, use, and third-party relationships. The document should be purchased from ISO to implement in your own company. Annex B refers to the importance of a CEO-signed AI policy in the company, roles and responsibilities, the resources required, the assessment of the impacts of AI systems, and the life cycle of an AI system and data. Annex B also details the use of AI systems and the 8 issues that can arise. Annex C talks of how risks can occur from any of the main topics discussed in this course, yet how they interact with one another determines the higher level of risk that could happen. Annex D relates to using AI in different domains: healthcare, mechanics, armed forces, job applications, power grid management and driving vehicles. ISO 27001 certification should be gained before implementing an AI management system. Module 5. How to implement ISO 42001 in your organization. Learning outcomes. Having completed Module 5, How to implement ISO 42001 in your organization, you will be able to recognize the importance of having an AI champion and an AIMS manager. Assess the difference and significance of internal and external AIMS audits. Discuss the importance of training in the workplace. Describe the requirements and reasoning for ongoing improvement and annual reviews. List the steps to prepare for an external audit. Explain the importance of corrective actions. Who is the champion? Within your organization, one employee will emerge as the champion of the AI management system. It is best if an employee is relatively senior in the organization to request and perhaps even authorize the necessary resources and provide proper governance to the process. If it has not been mentioned enough, the aim of AIMS is responsible AI. Have you chosen your AI champion yet? Here are sample criteria to choose the champion. A senior member of the organization management team. Is knowledgeable in AI and its subtopics. Is a visionary with a strategic understanding of AI for the organization. Appointing a manager. In addition to a champion, a manager needs to be appointed as the point person for AIMS. If it is the champion, that is great. If not, it is also okay, as a team is needed to create the AIMS. The manager can handle the day-to-day matters and the audit preparation, and the champion can handle the politics within the company. Internal audit. Before an external audit is conducted, an internal audit is needed to confirm that the organization is ready for its external audit. All the participants who will be at the external audit, as scheduled throughout the day or days, depending on if it is a first-year or second or third-year audit, will need to be at the audit at their appointed times and with the necessary preparedness. The internal audit is the dry run of the external audit, which leads to certification. ISO certification is essential to organizations, as many of their customers now require it. Therefore, it is important to treat all parts of the ISO process with the utmost professionalism and importance. To demonstrate this at the kickoff meeting of the internal audit and the external audit, the head of the organization should be present. In most cases, the CEO of the organization will be involved. Training guidelines. While not explicitly stated in ISO 42001, all staff should be adequately trained on this ISO standard to properly implement it in their job function, whether as planners, developers, or users. Yes, another module needs to be added to the annual training, which is probably already full, but be creative about how the training takes place. It could be online, in person, or a combination of both. As this standard is new, all staff should be trained on it within a reasonable time frame, and the annual training should be immediately started, whenever it occurs in your company. Staff must be trained to understand the importance of AI and how it can affect their work, the organization's processes, and its future. The world will change dramatically with AI, and everyone needs to be prepared. Ongoing improvement. As we said earlier, the essential part of this process is continuously improving the system by reviewing incidents, non-conformities, risk assessments, their treatment, the AI impact assessment and other issues that arose and how they are solved. Management should pay particular attention to the ongoing improvement activities, as it is ultimately what the company is scrutinized on internally and externally with all of the interested parties. Annual review. Along with ongoing improvement, the most essential part of the AIMS process is the annual review, when the ongoing improvement activities are assessed and evaluated. This is also when the external yearly audit might occur. Although not discussed in this course, the ISO process has a 3-year cycle of external audits. The ISO process, in brief, is as follows. Year 1, which will be for all organizations who decide to implement, audit, and certify for the first time for each ISO, confirming that the organization meets the standards criteria. For some standards, this could take 3 working days. Year 2 is when a surveillance audit is conducted to confirm that the organization meets the standards criteria. The length is typically just over half the amount of time as the Year 1 audit. Year 3 is another surveillance audit, as in Year 2, and then the cycle begins again with a recertification audit in Year 4, which is considered Year 1 of the cycle. Are you ready for one? So, how do you know if you are ready for an external audit? Did you review all of the sections of the ISO/IEC 42001? Do you have a policy signed by the CEO? Is it hung up at the entrance of your offices? Do all staff know that an AIMS is in effect? Was a risk assessment written? Was an impact assessment written? Once you can say yes to this and other things that need to be prepared, you know you are ready for an internal audit. How to know that you are ready? Once you have completed your internal audit, you can have an internal audit with an externally experienced person and have a dry run at an external audit. Did you remember to complete all the corrective actions and close them? If you don't, that will come up in the audit. Do you have the findings of your internal audit? When you are about to get your certification for the first time, you should have someone who is a neutral third party from outside your organization review your documentation to ensure it is complete enough for an audit. Remember, an auditor will want to find things that need to be fixed, partially to justify their time coming to your company, and that is okay. They will probably make minor, not significant, comments. Now that you are ready. Now you are ready for an external audit, which, for the first time, don't expect to pass with flying colors. Expect to pass and get your certificate with many things to work on that the external auditor will see need to be fixed. Please don't blame the internal audit group or the external internal auditor, they are also new at this. This ISO was just published in early December 2023. Everyone is learning, even the external auditor, but they rely on their experience auditing other organizations for other ISOs. Good luck, and if you need any help, message me on LinkedIn. I want all of my students to succeed. Thank you. Let me take this opportunity to thank you for taking this course and for taking the time to further your education in this very cutting-edge topic of AI and consider establishing an AI management system for responsible planning, development, and use of AI. It is the next phase in technology's growth in our time and should be done responsibly. Remember, I am always here for you to answer your questions via LinkedIn on this and related topics that I have written on. Continue in your lifelong learning, and it will take you far. Lesson Summary. The key points from Module 5, How to Implement ISO 42001 in your organization are the following. An AI champion and AI management system manager should be appointed. An internal audit should be conducted as a dry run for the external audit. All employees should be trained on the AI management system, and ongoing improvement should be conducted to ensure that the AI management system evolves. This should be reviewed, monitored, and documented throughout the year. Risk assessments, impact assessments, and corrective actions should be taken before an external audit occurs.